went to court and they said, lock him up, throw away the key. And that's when I realized, like, shit, this is real. And I went to state prison. It was definitely scary at first. And I said to myself, when I get out, I'm going to do something better. And that's what I did. There's so many people that I met in there that were reoffenders. A lot of it is because when you get out, you have no support. Here I am today. I have a very successful business. I help people. I have a nonprofit. No one is too far gone to be saved.
What do you think is causing homeless to be homeless?
A lot of...
Why do people call you the good boss?
Simply because I'm the good boss to my employees. I have my own business and I treat them well.
Why do you have 939,000 followers?
Because I do all good things. There's no negative with what I do. I love helping people. I love inspiring other people, showing them that anything's possible. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
So I know you got a whole story. We're going to get into that story a little bit, but when I first looked, Victor the Good Boss, 939,000 followers, especially nowadays, it's not easy to get a bunch of followers.
No,
there's a lot of noise out there. Why do you think people are following you?
I think there's people out there that like to see good stuff. There are some people that like to see the funny jokes or stuff like that, but there are good people out there that have a heart and they like to see other people helping others. It inspires them. Not everyone can help someone. So I think that's why they like to watch.
What do you do?
So my biggest thing is I like to take homeless people off the streets.
Take them where?
Take them to rehab, housing, get them a job.
Do you pay for it?
So I do GoFundMes. I have a nonprofit that I started and I do everything I can to get someone from the streets to a job, living in a house.
Normally I say, like I'm interested in like having the listeners learn something on this show to either get them past a challenge or a situation. I don't know if I have any homeless looking or watching to the podcast. So it's kind of like, well, where do I position this? And I thought to myself, first of all, how do you stop from getting in that situation? Like there's a lot of people watching that could end up homeless.
That's right.
So like, what do you think is causing homeless to be homeless?
Well, I think a lot of the world is a step away from becoming homeless. There's a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck. I think maybe the lack of knowledge, the fear to start their own business.
That's a bomb, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think you listen to the show much.
So no, not much.
Yeah, so the bomb just tells people pay attention because whatever you just said meant something. And what you just said was, dude, the lack of knowledge.
That's right.
Because, dude, that's my mission.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm one of those funny guys on social media.
Yeah.
But I also have a heart. I do honestly just try to help people.
Yeah.
I help them with my, need to help them by not coughing into the microphone, but I help people. I don't necessarily go as far as you do though.
Yeah.
Like you're going extra far to help. I think, man, if you want to have me help you not drown,
yeah, right,
you got to swim towards me.
That's
it
right.
seems like you're swimming out a little bit for people.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I interrupted where that was going because I want to know. Lack of knowledge will stop people.
Definitely.
From doing it. And the way I help people is I try to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it.
That's right.
And again, when I'm like, homeless, you help a lot of homeless. I'm thinking, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I have any homeless listening.
Yeah,
but in reality, and I probably don't, but let's say I do, you're going to help them. I know for sure with your story.
Yeah.
But if I'm listening to this, I could walk around without information and end up homeless. So I interrupted. Go ahead and tell people how to keep from being homeless.
So I guess it goes back to where I said, fear as well. People are scared to make a leap to do something. I think if you find something you love and you continue working hard at it, you will get somewhere. Don't be afraid to just make a change. Hang around the right people. If someone's bringing you down, don't hang around with them anymore. What
if they're your friend from high school? Like they're your buddy.
Then I would say they're really not your buddy if they keep bringing you down. You got to find someone that actually cares about what you're doing, supports you, smiles at you when you're prospering or doing something good.
Don't you think it's a little bit wishful thinking?
Yeah, I do.
Because like you see, and I agree with everything you're saying, but and I'm almost saying it just so you can explain it to people, because like I agree with you.
Yeah.
It seems obvious once you get to a certain point in life that like, look, they're not your friend if they're doing this, and this. But a lot of people are like, dude, I grew up with this guy. You know, you make it seem so easy. I'm just supposed to tell him to pound sand because he's not making any money and he's kind of a downer and he's, you know, pessimistic. What would you say to that?
So I don't mean to just get rid of them. You know, just keep doing you. Don't put so much effort into something that's stopping you from your dream or being successful. You know, he could still be your friend, sure. You know, hey, what's up? You want to give me a call or you want to hang out sometimes? But if there's just too much negativity, you have to separate that or else you're not going to succeed.
How do you do that?
You need to be strong. That's for sure. I've been doing what I do for, 4 years now, and I've been as strong as I could. I've been through a lot, and I don't know.
Well, not only that, but you get a lot of followers, and a lot of people get followers when they're out giving out money and they're helping people. I always see accounts where like, oh, the dude's out there helping people.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, dude, that's all fake so you can get followers. What do you say about that?
I say yes. There's a lot of people that are fake, that are doing this just for followers, just for money. A part of me also does random acts of kindness where I give people money. Some money comes from sponsorships. I don't do many sponsorships, but some of it does. And a lot of it comes from my pocket. I just like to make someone smile and just make their day brighter. But to go back to what you said, yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing it for the views. There are some out there that really care. I've done everything from the heart. I don't make much money off social media. I could make more doing advertisements, but I want to be real. I want to be authentic.
That's right.
Yeah. I got to get one of them shirts.
I'll get you one.
Thank you. So the biggest thing about me is I'm real. Some people may think I'm not, some people may think I am, but I think I've proven to the whole world, social media, that I am real and everything I do is not staged. I'm never going to stop doing what I do. I've been through the worst. So I know what it's like. I've started a business. I had to let it go because I went to prison.
What did you go to prison for?
Selling drugs. I mean, I can back up and give you my quick story if you'd like.
Oh, well, we're going to get there for sure. Selling drugs.
Yeah.
What kind of drugs?
OC80s.
Oxycontin.
Oxycontin. Yeah.
Dude, aren't those the ones that basically the movie came out and it showed that like, dude, they knew full well those would get you hooked like a son of a gun.
That's right.
Did you get hooked?
No, so I didn't get hooked on those.
Did you know that they were getting people hooked?
I did, yeah.
So you weren't always this nice guy.
No. Well, yes, but I thought about money and I didn't care about other people. So I've always been nice, but sometimes I just don't think. And when I was younger, I definitely didn't think. So that's what I would say. I would say I was just young, dumb, careless, and eventually I grew up.
Do you ever go back to the people you were selling drugs to and try to help them?
I haven't had any encounters with someone because it was a while ago.
How long ago?
This was over, 13 years ago.
In Boston?
Yeah, in Boston.
So you were just slinging pills.
Yeah.
And did you ever feel guilty?
Yes, I definitely did. But I was also a party animal where like I said, I was careless, you know? I would be doing coke almost every night. So I was addicted to drugs. Then I got into the perks and they were all my friends that I was selling to. So I didn't think it was anything bad. You know, we were all getting messed up together, partying.
But why can't you go back and help them now?
Because let's see.
Were you taking the drugs too? You said no.
I was, but not OC80s.
So I'm talking about specifically, like now that you know that, like, dude, you were freaking seriously getting them in some shit with selling those, you know. And again, we all make mistakes. I ain't trying.
No, I know.
Your followers are gonna freaking tear me up like you were being a dick. But I'm trying to get like, you know, for people to hear, like, dude, you sold some, like, that's like today's fentanyl, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Like fentanyl will kill you.
Yeah.
And then there's people out there intentionally doing it on their own.
That's right.
And there's people dealing it.
Yeah,
and
it's
they're
so cheap.
And they need to freaking learn whatever it is you learned now. So they stop dealing it.
Yeah.
The money was making you deal it, where you weren't obviously thinking, man, I'm screwing up this guy's life, but that's okay. I get some money. You weren't thinking that was happening.
No.
So I'm trying to drive that conversation. Like, I want someone listening that might be out there dealing drugs right now to kind of shift their perspective. What did you realize afterwards? Because you weren't realizing it while you were doing it. Yeah. But at some point, whether it was prison or you just changed, because dude, sometimes we mature or change and think, you know what, that's not a good thing to do.
That's right.
So what was it? What should somebody be looking out for? How do they stop dealing drugs for money?
Well, I would say whoever's dealing drugs, 99% of people dealing drugs are not going to last forever. You will get caught. It's not the life to live. It's not a real job. It's not a real business. It's just a temporary business that's either going to get you killed in prison, or you lose everything.
What prison did you go to?
I went to state prison.
Was it rough?
No, it wasn't bad.
So how long did you stay there?
I was just under, I think it was 19 months.
And when they released you, were you cured, so to speak, or did you get back into it?
So when I got released, I was completely, sober.
Did you find God in there?
No, I believe in God. I don't go to church every day.
So what snapped? What changed?
Realizing that I lost everything. I lost my freedom being in prison. Yeah. I could never leave. And it's like, when I got in there, it was tough. I had to detox in prison. I didn't sleep for at least 4 nights. And realizing how much I lost, my complete freedom, it was scary. Definitely scary in the beginning. Then I got into a routine, and I just said to myself, I don't ever want to end up back in here. There's so many people that I met in there that were reoffenders. They just kept coming back. And a lot of it is because they have no support. When you get out, you have no support. I had support. I have a great family, and I'm thankful for that. And before I went to prison, so I was out on bail for 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a long time. And I eventually forgot about, me going to prison, because I didn't think it was real. I thought I was going to beat the case, but so I was doing good. I started a business out on bail, a landscaping business. And then I started going back into my old ways, doing drugs, selling them just to get by. And then I got caught again. On bail.
Bail.
Yeah. Eee. So then I went to court like the next day or whatever, and they said, lock him up, throw away the key. And that's when I realized, like, shit, this is real. This is 100% real. That's when I went to prison. I went to state prison, and it was definitely scary at first, but I found a routine eventually. And I said to myself, when I get out, I'm going to do something better. I'm going to restart my business. I don't care what it takes. And that's what I did. I worked hard. I don't come from much money. And I just worked my ass off. And here I am today. I have a very successful business. I help people. I have a nonprofit. I have an app that I'm developing soon. That's going to really, I'm going to say it's going to change the world. I'm not going to say it might change the world. This is going to be an amazing app for everybody.
What's it going to do?
It's going to help people that are struggling, whether they are just coming out of prison, detox, treatment, someone that's just can't get by, that's, lives paycheck to paycheck. There's going to be, I can't talk too much about it, but... you
don't want anybody stealing it.
Correct. If someone tries to steal it, they don't have what I have. I have 6 million plus followers. You didn't look up my TikTok.
Oh, you're bigger on TikTok?
Oh, yeah. I have 3.8 million followers there.
Dang, you got me beat.
Yeah. So...
when did you start that TikTok?
I started the TikTok 2020, I think. Maybe 2021.
Is it steadily climbing?
Yeah, it's still climbing.
Mine stopped. Matter of fact, it started to decline. I'm like, damn, I better come out with a different message. They're tired of it.
The algorithm's tough too.
I've always thought about maybe going to help people because, I'm obviously doing decent. And,
Yeah.
I do give back and whatnot, but like, I never really put it online because like, I just kind of give when I feel kind of the urge or the spirit, or I always say it's not me the one giving. I'm just the vehicle, which it's flowing. But I've always thought about like, let me go, save some homeless people or give some money away. But I don't think I'm as philanthropic as you, because I'm not going to spend that much time doing it. Like, dude, you spend some time. Like when you pick someone off the street and try to help them, dude, that's it takes days. It's not a freaking, let me take 30 minutes and go help this dude.
Yeah. It's full time.
Yeah. So that's all you do.
Yeah. And I run my business too. I have a landscape masonry business.
Do you hire them there?
So I have, but
how's that worked out?
It works out like this. I hire them when they get out of treatment, and then they end up going, they're in sober living, but most of the time they go into a different state. Most people I help, I send them to Florida, Jersey.
To get out of their environment.
Yeah. And that's what they need. The very first person I helped, he worked with me, for a few days before going to treatment. And then I sent him to Texas, and he just, started his life there, then came back, then went somewhere else. So I think it's for the better. Getting them out of their environment is better. So right now, where I'm at in life, I'd rather not employ them. I'd rather give them the assistance to, get out, focus on their sobriety, and get a job where they are. And that's what's happening.
Do any of them relapse?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever feel like, dude, you're a lost cause? I'm done.
No. I never give up. Everyone that I've helped, they know that I do not just give up.
Don't you think, though, that might be an actual problem? You're an enabler.
So I don't enable by giving them money. I simply sit on the sidelines. If they want to relapse and go back to their old ways, I'm over here on the sidelines. I'm not going to be there feeding them, giving them money. That's not what I do.
Because that is enablement.
Correct. Yep.
I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Where like I try to help, but you think you're helping. You're not helping.
No, not at all.
You're actually hurting.
That's right. 100%.
So you got out of prison. You're like, okay, I'm flying straight. Because, dude, prison is enough to freaking get someone to wake up.
Yeah.
So you woke up, you got out of prison, you started working. At some point you said, man, I want to help people. Or you just kind of felt. What was the first time? There was no camera on you, I'm sure.
I guess my memory is bad, but I seen a homeless person. And I don't know if it was the first person. I think the very first person was sitting at a Walmart, and I was recording. I don't know why.
The very first one?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. And I think the reason why is I wanted to call them on their bluff. They're standing out there holding a sign saying, looking for work. So I wanted to call their bluff and say, hey, do you want to work? Because most of the time they're out there getting money just to get high and not feel sick. There's nothing wrong with that. Being dope sick is awful. But I like to find the ones that really want to make a change. And when I tell them, if you want to make this change, I will be there every step of the way. As far as you need until you're a big boy or a big girl and you're on your own.
You ever help girls?
Yes. I helped. There's one girl that really gets me every time I talk about her. It's crazy because she was pregnant, and she was about 6 months pregnant. And I tried so hard to get her on an airplane to me, where I was going to pay for her treatment, and she couldn't do it. She kept going to the airport. She was so sick, so dope sick. She had to go and get high, do her thing. She kept missing the flights to a point where I said, screw this. I got on a flight, flew to her, got her on the airplane. Then we flew to a different facility in Cali where I got a scholarship. And it's so awesome because till this day, her kid is, I want to say he's 2 years old now, completely healthy. She's sober, and it's amazing.
See, and that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
When you see the good stories.
Saving 2 lives at once, a baby.
Especially a baby.
And
yeah, were they addicted, or does that like have problems?
So most people do. When they're pregnant, the kids end up with problems, and this one was perfectly healthy.
Nice.
That's why it's amazing. Like, it really gets me. It touches me. It gives me the chills, knowing that I was a part of that, And she's not the only one. There's more than dozens of people that I've helped get clean and sober with what I've been doing.
How do you identify them? If she was in another city, how'd you find her?
So social media is how I was helping everyone. People reached out saying, I need help. And I would just go live and just say, hey, I want to help this person. I would raise money on a live and pay for their treatment.
How much money would you raise?
$10,000.
On a live?
Yeah.
No
if
shit.
not more.
See, again, I mean, like, I want to do stuff like that if
Yeah.
I thought that's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you got the people saying, you are just making the money.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to them?
I say, honestly, I don't say anything. I just keep doing what I do and show. I don't take $1 from my nonprofit. I don't take a paycheck. I simply help everyone with the money that comes in. Everything has to be clear and transparent when you own a nonprofit. I don't know if you want to say own a nonprofit. When you have a nonprofit,
Yeah.
you have to be transparent. When you do your taxes, it's for anyone to see. So yes, I could take a salary, but there's not enough money in there. The money that comes in just goes right out. It costs a lot to help someone.
Yeah.
You know, if I raise $15,000, I'll use Ryan, for example. Ryan was a homeless kid on the streets, and I got him off the streets, raised $15,000 for him, and got a scholarship for treatment. So that $15,000 allowed him to be clean and sober, money-free, worry-free of money for 6 months. And when you're just coming out of treatment and you have no money, first thing you want to do is just relapse. You know, you're so stressed out, you can't afford anything.
Yeah.
So I take that burden off people. I help them financially, you know, when I get donations, and that allows them to continue with their sobriety and be successful.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, torn because like I know people. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to introduce you to somebody I know. Go help them. And then I always think to myself, well, why don't you just help them? Well, dude, that takes a lot of freaking time too. Yeah. It's like, I don't have the time, number one. And then number two, dude, I've tried. They just keep doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like I literally go, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I say you're better than me because, dude, like I'll help. But as soon as you're like acting a dipshit, you relapse once, dude, beat it.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. And I have a great example. Like I just said, Ryan, he relapsed twice now so far, and he's clean now, but it doesn't happen on the first time for someone to get clean and sober. They will relapse. It's a great chance.
Is it because you were a druggie? Were you ever addicted, or were you just a partier?
I was a partier, but I was addicted. Physically, I was addicted to opiates, perk 30s. That was my thing. So I know the feeling of, you know, dope sick, not having the pills, that feeling in your body. It's awful.
What does it feel like?
It's just pain. It's like
literal.
What's that?
Literal pain?
Yeah. Literal pain.
What's hurting?
Your bones are aching. It's like you have the flu. Just think of when you're in the flu, you're stuck in bed. That's what it's like.
No wonder they freaking keep going to get more.
That's right. Because when they get more, they're fine. They're flying. They feel great. So that's why I know the feeling. And it's a great feeling. When you're high on drugs, it's a great feeling. So yeah. I totally get it. It sucks. When you're addicted, you're addicted.
So, number one, if you guys want to follow this dude, Victor the Good Boss, a lot of you guys are already following this dude. I got you beat on Instagram, but not by much. I'm sure you're going to pass me there. TikTok, you got me beat by over 1 mil. So you guys probably are already following him. If you're not, Victor the Good Boss on both accounts.
Yeah, every account, YouTube, everything.
Yeah, and you can donate if you want. How do they donate?
So I have a website. It's thegoodproject.us. There's a big donate button. There's also a mailing list, which is huge because the app that I can't really talk too much about, I'm going to release it only to people that subscribe to the email list in the beginning. And then once it's fully ready, I'm going to launch it everywhere.
Is it for them if they're doing well, or is it for people not doing well?
It's for anyone, someone that's doing well, not doing well, addicted to drugs, coming out of prison, someone successful, someone that wants to learn more about how to grow their business. It's just to help literally anyone in this world. Someone that is very successful, a multimillionaire, for example. It could be for them. It's for nonprofits that want to showcase what they're doing. People that simply want to just donate and see where their money's going. They're going to get live time feed of where their donation's going. You don't really get that now. You know, you donate to a nonprofit, you don't know where that's going. So there's a lot more to this. I'd love to tell you, but
so,
I can't yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to, because there's people that will be like, dude, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And they'll be doing it for the wrong reason. It seems like that you know, you're definitely doing it for the right reason. So listening, I'm thinking in my head, dude, I want to do this. What would you say to somebody that says, dude, you know what? I want to do this.
So that's great that you say that. What I would say to you is, you know, once this app is developed, so let's just say it's anyone that says, I want to help, simply download the app and you can help. You can do exactly what I do. You can do it a little more. Because I get so many DMs saying, I love what you do. How can I help? Well, this app is going to allow people that want to help do it.
Yeah, because I mean, like when you find someone good that's actually doing it, like they're not doing it for the followers, even though they're getting followers. Mm-hmm. They're actually out there making an impact. I mean, dude, like that could be my sister you were helping.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of family members that won't help.
No.
You know, one of the people I was talking about, you know, maybe I'll give you his name. Well, dude, like I want to help, but I'm not going to because it doesn't help. Yeah. I'm convinced it doesn't help. Dude's an idiot. Like it just keeps doing the same stupid shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if everybody thought like that, dude, that dude's doomed.
Yeah, he's done. He's cooked.
Yeah, so that's why I want to give him your name.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, every time I think that, I'm thinking, dude, just help him again. What makes you keep trying?
So I say it like this. When I go around asking people if they want help, I would say 9 out of 10 are going to say no. Or they're going to say yes, but they really don't want help.
Yeah. So
I give them my number, I tell them who I am. I'm just planting the seed.
What do you say? Do you say I'm Victor Oliveira, the good boss?
Yep. I say I'm Victor Oliveira, the good boss, just like that. I help people. I have a proven track record, and I don't give up on you.
Is it always drugs? What if they just need help with money?
No, it's not always drugs.
I need help right now. My car's about to be finished being detailed. Can you help?
So if I have the funds, then I would definitely help. It has to go through the board. You know, we have to talk to everyone, make a decision. I've surprised a single mom with a disabled child with a brand new minivan. You know, I've done random acts of kindness, a bunch of them.
Right on.
So, but I do a lot more of getting someone off the streets because I don't know, it's such a feeling knowing that, you know, that person could be dead tomorrow because of their drugs. If I could help them and they can be successful, you know, one of them one day could be a multimillionaire. You never know.
Have you ever met any that are better off dead?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say no one is too far gone to be saved, as Ryan Kennyway would say.
You would think that you would be bringing God into the equation. Mm-hmm. You know, usually the people out there helping are really just, you know, they're very faith-based, and ultimately it's like, you need to find Jesus, brother.
Yeah. So
you're not doing that. You're just straight up helping.
That's right. It's not for everyone. Or God is not for everyone. Just like NA is not for everyone. You know, some people like me, I don't go to meetings. I went to prison, I smartened up, and I said, get your act together. Let's go.
Do you think you'll ever relapse?
No, never.
Yeah. Which means you weren't an addict. Because again, when I talk to alcoholics, they say they go to AA, which, you know, I'm all for every program, but they've never ever drank. And I'm talking like 27 years. You know, I'm like, well, then you're not an alcoholic. And they're like, yes, I am. And I'm like, dude, I get the psychology behind it. So, because technically, you know, you keep you sober, but at the end of the day, I thought an alcoholic or a drug addict needs it. And it's like, you ain't drank for 27 years, bro. You're no longer an alcoholic.
That's right.
If you haven't done drugs in 13 years, bro, you're not a druggie.
That's right. You're clean. You're recovered.
Yeah, but some of these programs convince them that they're always that. And
that's right.
And that's the part I stop and I go, because I'm all about mindset. Mm-hmm. And if you think you're, you know, this person who's weaker than the drug, I try to switch their mind and be like, dude, but I see the danger in that because theoretically you could just convince someone with that perspective, dude, you no longer need the meetings and you don't need that structure.
Yeah.
Bro, you're done. And they're like, yeah, I am done. I suppose I could have a drink. And then they go have a drink. And next thing you know, they're freaking, back at it. And it's like, that would be on me. So I just try to keep my mouth shut. But what do you think about the people that are teaching people that you're going to be this impaired, struggling person forever? You're never cured.
I don't agree with it entirely. Just because I'm so different. Like, I'm good. I did drugs for some time, and yes, I was addicted, but now I'm good. I have my business, my family. I don't think I'll ever go back. There's no point. So I think
you won't, bro. Trust me.
I definitely won't. I think some of that stuff is just too much for someone. Again, Ryan, for example, he hates meetings and he hates the 12-step. Like, for some people, the 12-step is not it. Some people it is. The big book, it is. Me, it wasn't.
What's the big book? Bible?
No, it's the NA book.
Oh.
And for me, I never did any of that. I, again, went to prison. That was my thing to get clean.
That's your wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, I've never been addicted. I've sat here on this podcast and talked about it. One time I smoked crack for 3 days straight. Oh, yeah. I was addicted for 3 days. Yeah. But I said, oh shit, I'm addicted. This is unbelievable. I got to get away. And then boom, never did it again. I've smoked weed, I've done, I call it, experimented. But I've never been hooked to a degree where someone had to come rescue me.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of people that are. And, I'm glad there's people like you out there willing to freaking put the time, energy, and resources to do it because, dude, that's a big job. So I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I hope everybody listens and follows and supports what you're doing. And more people make, some recovery. And if like I said, I don't think anyone in the bomb squad's like that, but I might be wrong completely because you never know. Sometimes it's the guy next door.
I know.
They got kids. You're thinking this guy can't be. And that's the dude that's sitting there, got a bottle of alcohol at his job. He's every day he walks out, he pops a pill and gets in his vehicle to go to work and cope. And you never know.
Never know.
So if I have people listening that need you, should they hit you up in the DM or do you get a million of those? I'm sure you don't even see them all.
I get a million. Email if they could, or simply just go to my website and navigate through there. But definitely my email, you could send me a DM. I may not see it. I get too many DMs.
Yeah.
I don't have a team that helps me. I do everything. So I don't know how I do it, but I do it. And
do you ever just like walk by a homeless person and be like, dude, I can help you when you're not in the town you live in? Cause like, how are you going to help someone in Vegas?
I already did it over here.
Well, who'd you help?
No, I didn't.
One of my guys?
Well, I got food for someone. But homeless people, on the streets, I've already gave my card out. I already planted the seed.
You think food helps?
So food is my way of getting in with them, talking with them, and then giving them my offer. If they want help, just to call me. There's,
you ever been in danger?
Yeah. Yeah. There was one encounter where I thought this kid was going to pull out a knife.
Was he pissed that you were trying to help him? What was the story?
No, he was pissed because he wanted $1. And I said, I'm not going to give you $1. I said, what's the money for? And he said, I'm just trying to buy some socks, bro. And I said, you're not going to get socks for $1. He said, come on, be honest with me. And I kept on digging into him so that he was honest. And he finally gave in and said, I just want to get high. So.
And you said no.
I said no. But because he was honest, I still gave him the $1. So I just wanted to get it out of him. That's all. Because I know $1 is not going to get him high.
No, but well, you never know. But especially when it comes to females, like for some reason, I don't have as much sympathy for dudes. Why? Well, because dude, you're a dude. Go to work. So, make a good choice. Stop being a dipshit. Stop making the wrong choices. But a female, like in a lot of cases, I think they're going to turn to the one thing that they have that is almost guaranteed to be sold.
Yeah, it's powerful.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So like if I see a homeless woman, I'm always like extra sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever like decide, you know, are you that way? Do you like feel the same way? Like, because when I look at a homeless woman, I think to myself, poor girl, she's probably getting abused.
Yeah.
She's probably selling her body.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just feel worse for women for some reason.
Yeah.
Women and children are my thing. Like
Definitely.
if you have a small child and you're homeless, dude, I'm giving you money.
That's
period.
right. Yeah.
I just feel bad for women and children. Do you feel bad equally?
I know women are more vulnerable. And I think that they're also scared to reach out for help. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, I guess I agree with you. Men are capable. Men and women are capable of helping themselves, but I feel like the men need it less than the woman.
So do I.
I feel like the women are in a shell. They're hard to come out of that shell. A guy, I mean, just because I'm a guy, I know that I'm okay. I'll figure it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, I used to try to help the homeless sometimes and you know, I stopped because most of them wanted to be.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, you're not needing help, bro. Mm-hmm. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't want help. They didn't need help. And when I started talking to them, I found out they were there by a choice. Mm-hmm. And one time I was homeless and I was there because I chose to be, and I didn't want to go get the help, and I didn't want to freaking ask, and I didn't want to look like a loser. Yeah. So I just sat there on a beach, you know, in California for probably 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Homeless, no money, no place to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm sleeping on a beach. And people would say, like, bro, what did it feel like to, you know, hit rock bottom? And I'm like, well, I don't think I really hit rock bottom. And they're like, what do you mean, man? You were homeless. And I'm like, yeah, but I was there because I didn't want to go look like a bitch. And, you know, in other words, I chose to be there. That was my choice. Yeah. Now, if someone would have came up and gave me help, I would have probably said, cool. Yeah. And if a guy like you came along and sat down and said, hey, you want a job? I'd have said, you know, doing what? Like, in other words, like, I ain't that desperate, but I chose to be there, dude. Yeah. A lot of these guys, believe it or not, they're choosing to be homeless.
Yes.
When you run into those, what do you do?
So when I help people, I help the people that want to come off the streets. So I just ask them, I say, hey, do you want to come off the streets? If they say no, then I move on, you know?
Do you say anything like, hey, suit yourself?
I just say, call me when you're ready. That's it.
You give them your number?
Yep.
How many of them
everyone
call?
My number. None. I mean, it's very few, you know, the amount of people that actually call me for help. It usually happens that day, you know, that like I can feel the person as I'm talking to them. Sometimes they start crying. They're like, oh, I don't want this life anymore. I just put more effort into them. Yeah. The ones that I can tell they just want to stay on the streets, I don't put as much effort. There's nothing wrong with that. I have to move on to find and help the next person that really wants it, you know?
So, bro, you spend your whole day helping people, man. How can the Bomb Squad help you right now?
By getting the word out there and supporting my mission, my cause. Anything helps. If it's not a donation, it's networking with someone that can help. Just getting together and just pulling the community together. And again, that's what this app is going to do. It's going to get everyone together doing good.
Right on. Well, dude, listen, appreciate you coming in, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Folks, if you don't want to help or you can't help, you can help by following him and sharing his post, because you might share it and find someone that can help. And by that, you're helping. Yeah. So go help this dude, help other people, if nothing else. And while you're at it, help me. Okay. Go give me a rating, you bastards. I get a bunch of freaking downloads, like a lot of downloads. And like, I only have like a couple thousand, you know, reviews, and that boosts you up. So it's like,
that's right.
Help me, folks. Go out there, like, subscribe, share my shit too. But it's more than mine, his. Go follow this dude, Victor the Good Boss. I appreciate you, man. You're doing a good thing. And I know you know that, but I want to just tell you, good job. Appreciate you.
Well, you got my review.
And
That's for sure.
thanks, man. And thanks for coming in. Next time you come through Vegas, dude, come back. I want to talk to you longer, but unfortunately, I got a freaking another thing, and I know you want to go help. So until next time, folks, keep it real.
Thank you.